All right, everybody, coming at you like never before. It is another edition of the Weekly Dagger. I welcome you to my wonderful Thursday cast. It is going to be the Korean Weekly. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. We have some great matchups coming along here. Let me bring up this little screen here. Yes, good. Everything's underway. Sounds like the audio's working well. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of the intro here. My production quality is slowly growing to being an adequate amount of entertainment at the beginning of my cast. And hopefully throughout this cast, I can start to make things look more amazing in between games. Okay, so let's go ahead and announce the lineup here. We're going to have Mind, Last Effort, Zero, Hero, and of course, Eyewater, aka Shuttle, but we've thrown that name away. We're just calling him Eyewater from now on because we have to respect the man who just won the ASL. So thank you guys for jumping in. Those early viewers that are joining in on this chat here. Who do we have? We have Art of Turtle. Yes, thank you. Welcome in. And how the hell did you get that chicken icon in there? That is awesome. All right, and actually, funny story. I type in this program called HipChat to communicate with a company in Seattle, and we can add our own emoticons. And so I added every Kappa picture I could think of, and so then me and all my programmer buddies, we just start spamming Kappa every time the manager from Seattle tries to talk to us, and it's been absolutely hilarious. All right, so yeah, so this lineup here, Mind, Last Effort, Zero, Hero, and Eyewater, is not going to happen in any particular order except for this. It will be the loser is eliminated. So it's basically a climb to the top. Once you're out, you are done. So it is going to start off with Mind versus Effort. Can either of these two players win out throughout this list of following opponents? So whoever wins between Mind and Effort is going to either be against Last, Zero, Hero, or Eyewater. So it is definitely going to be exciting no matter how it goes. We will be getting through all of these players today. I'm not going to end my cast until I have casted every game. Why? Because I have so many more games that Lamada just gave me from Zero. And Zero, by the way, says hello. So everybody, if you want to send a hello to Zero, just know that you are more than welcome to donate to my stream. And I will, if you add a label to it and say this is for Zero, I will give you a donation directly to Zero. And if you would like, I will send him a message. So that way he will know that it was personally from you. And you can say something awesome to him. Just a couple dollars, maybe like $1 or $2. If you feel like you just want to be fun and send him something, I will get that his way. All right, on top of that, of course, the donation link is below my Twitch stream. And YouTube followers, you can go ahead and go to my Twitch too. It should be in the description. That's enough of that. I do not like going after the money. I like going after the games here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this screen. Bam. Because I don't want to spoil any of the replays. In fact, I'm not even sure what the lineups are going to be for the rest of the day too. I try and just kind of like hide a portion of my screen as I'm looking through this. Like, okay, I just see Mind versus Effort here. Circuit Breaker. Oh, yeah. Got that selected. Let's go to scene number 1. Sweet transition, baby. All right, score 0-0. These are best of ones. This is how it's going to work. Yeah, King of the Hill style. That's basically what we're going to be seeing here. Who can climb up this hill? Down at the bottom right here corner, we're going to see our Terran player Mind. Meanwhile, let's boop, boop. Okay, brought that up to fastest speed. Don't want to watch replays at a slower speed. Hell no. At the top left-hand corner, we're going to see the Zerg opponent Zero. God, Zero's so good, so good. I love to watch his replays. And okay, now Zero versus Mind, in my opinion, is one of the best rivalries in the post-Kespa era. These two players not only just bring brilliant games, but they're like the best in their respective races. Really, Mind had such a dominant year in 2015. And he still played moderately well in 2016. I don't think that he's down and out just because Flash is playing well now. And, C's kind of resurrecting his skill, Sharp coming to the forefront. No, don't count Mind out. He is a solid player, and I think that he's just kind of had a little bit of bad luck. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, yeah, let's go down here to the bottom right. Let's see what these players are throwing up here. The first supply depot coming up for mine. Nothing unusual here. Meanwhile, we're just going to see continuing this first Overlord. And it's probably just going to be an open up with a 12 hatch. And it looks like the drone's being built just directly after this. Skagging Days, what's up, man? Welcome to this stream. Very happy to have you here. Okay, so guys, I've got a little bit of drama for you. The KCM Legend matches are no longer going to be played October 20th for 10 weeks. And I can't give you too much detail due to the privacy of the entire affair. But the original sponsor was going to be Item Bay. But due to the controversial things that Item Bay does in comparison to the popular games that are out, it's just best that Item Bay is no longer the sponsor of the KCM Legend matches, which means that Lamada, myself, and KCM are going to have to go after more sponsors, find that money, and if worst comes to worst, we will return at the beginning of the year in 2017. So, I mean, just don't doubt it. It's going to happen. Now, what I'm thinking, what I want to do, and I don't think I can do it until the start of 2017, but to add some more hype for foreign players, I want to add Fight Club. Anybody who's a fan of StarCraft 2 back during Wings of Liberty would know that Hyun was actually the ex-Brood War player, Hyun the Zerg player, dominated this thing called Fight Club, and every week you have an opportunity to win money, like say let's say $20 for the win, but you start gaining more and more money based on how many wins you get consecutively, week after week after week. And so I think it would be really cool to start something like that with the foreign community. We'll just see. I'm paying off a giant loan in just a couple weeks here, and money's going to be good. I think I can sponsor it myself if I can't find anybody to additionally sponsor it. But yeah, I want to do it with the top foreign players, because you know KCM and I will be able to do that with the Korean players and have legit sponsors for them. So yeah, if I got to do it myself, I got to do it myself, which means that I will not sacrifice Tuesdays. I'm not going to sacrifice Tuesdays foreign cast. It would be a Wednesday. I'm thinking Wednesday would be great for 2017. So 3 days in a row of weekly Dagger casts. This is starting to sound oddly familiar to someone else that used to cast very, very often back in the day for StarCraft 1. I am nowhere near that god tier level, but you know what? I just have so much fun doing this. I can't imagine not having a third day added into the week eventually here. Just got to get in the groove of things, you know? Especially since eventually I'm going to have so much family consuming my time. And eventually I will have a co-caster, a little wee co-caster that could join in with me too. Okay, look at this. So the Marines out of the front. Okay, I haven't given you guys any information because I just wanted to get through my little spiel here, and guess what? It's just game number 1 anyway. Terran Academy coming up. Engineering Bay. Looks like it's going to be heavy bio at the forefront here, and that's going to be all normal so far. Ling scouting around. Let's go ahead and find out where that Spire is going to be coming up. Yes, so Spire up here at the top right, almost halfway done. You can see that the lair's finished. The second gas is coming up inside this natural base, and this is pretty textbook play. And now what we see up here, top right, the third base going down too. Man, this looks so familiar. This is exactly how Scan played his Zerg when we were watching Koget versus Scan. If you missed out on that best of 14, I cast it out on Tuesday. Man, did it go awesomely. So if you guys want to watch those games, you can. Of course, there was no game sound on that. And I hope that you guys will let me know if you do not hear the game sounds right now in this cast, because I would love to make sure that they are available. So look at the Lynx trying to poke around here. And this is something that Koget didn't do until like the 4th or 5th game, is realize that he really couldn't skip this bunker, because the bunker is so important in closing up the gap. In fighting Spirit, I actually think it's even worse if you don't get the bunker, but you need it here to close up the gap so the Zerglings don't run up this ramp. And it's really a hassle if you have to camp 1 or 2 SCVs on that ramp to block the Zerglings also. You want to have the maximum amount of economy here. So now we see the 4 racks coming up. We'll have to keep a close watch to see if a 5th racks does come up. But right now, you know, mine's a good enough player. If he decides to just skip, go only 4 racks, he can still deal with mutas adequately. So the first mutas are already on the map. You can see him just skating across, trying to make their way over towards the bottom right and go for an attack here. Meanwhile, you see the hatchery just pops up here. All of the creep on its way too, trying to spread its way around. Such a vicious race the Zerg are. And okay, these mutas trying to look for the hulls. And you know, when you think that Mind has played so many TVZs, how can you have hulls? But you never know the condition that the player is going to come in. Sometimes, you know, a player like Flash may decide he's going to be greedy and skip a turret or two. And that's where you're going to find an opportunity, if you can, to poke him with these mutas and get some damage done. But right now, you see, that was a great pickoff. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Find the roaming SCVs. See if you can halt supply depots from getting up. It's going to force another SCV to come out and repair that, or actually finish rebuilding that supply depot. All right, thank you for confirming that the sound is good. I had a late Mountain Dew. I generally don't try and, you know, drink too much caffeine, but I had to pump myself up for today's cast. Why? Because last week my cast was canceled due to the fact that a giant hurricane came through Florida, and yeah, it was pretty bad. I was really close to a Category 3 hurricane, and the winds were pretty enormous. My husky loved it though. She ran outside, just bashed her face in the wind. I couldn't get any cuter than that. So look at this. Zero's trying to just bait out as many stims as he can. I actually think that was a really premature stim right there from Mind. But he kind of lost the focus of where the mutas were. So he had to keep that, you know, keep his eye on where these mutas are now. He's got the +1 attack finished. That's good. So +1 stim, and I imagine range would be done at this time too. If it's not. Look at that, the +1 armor on the way, and a starport. So it is going to be 4 racks, but with the +1 armor, you know, it's just going to make these Marines a little bit more stout. And especially if these mutas don't get +1, they're going to just be a more formidable ground unit going into this mid-game here. Oh, that was a nice little stim coming up there a little bit on the right side, taking more damage on it. Now, you can see that there's only 10 mutas. It's not going to be continued muta play, and there's 4 lurker eggs on the map. So lurkers are being built somewhere. Let's look here. We found the first 2 lurkers, and the other 2 lurkers up here at the top right, so they could guard the ramp. Sorry, the ramp's over here. Got in fighting spirit mode for a second there. And possibly another lurker going to morph here from the Hydralisk, because it's no good in that current form. No good. These Marines, though, they managed to make it past mutas. Another stim, though. They gotta stay alive. This is so tough. Meanwhile, the read macro of units is actually pretty strong here, too. And this is a solid timing for Mind. And these mutas are doing decent amount of damage. But you know what? I think that it was a pretty good trade. 4 mutas getting taken out right now. 6 mutas, not too strong. But it was enough to cause Mind to go back. He knows with the lurkers on the high ground, the damage of the mutas on that regroup, it was enough to adequately defend. So Mind's got to think, what's my game plan now? Go to the top left, possibly, but he might do some damage. He might do some damage. There's a lurker here. There's no sunkens, which, if you guys did watch Scan versus Koget, Scan did a great job of building a sunken or 2 early on, which allowed him to play really effectively against Koget's Terran, especially with these early Marine attacks. But as we approach more of the mid-game style here, the upgrades coming on the way. Imagine, wait, did +1 get canceled? Oh, no. It just takes a long time to get finished, I guess. We can see that the science facility is up and these science vessels are on the way too. It's really important here to keep a lot of these units alive until the science vessels come out, because you want to be able to storm up this ramp as soon as you can bring the science vessels. And even with the vision of the science vessel, it's so hard to break these 3 lurkers effectively. You can see, though, that the scan does come down, and he tried to split his units out as best he can across these walls to try and maybe get a pick up on the lurker, but mostly just damage there and nothing effective from that little attack. But he did try and poke in to see if any of them were close enough to get picked off. So the Nidus Canal, this network has been completed. Units can easily get brought back and forth between the bases. And look at this, Zero, one of the better Zerg players, to get the hive. And you can see that Consume being researched, and the Defilers will be on the way very shortly. Just an Overlord in here. Where do we have any Defilers yet? I guess not quite yet, but the mound is up and about. Meanwhile, the command center here, the 3rd is coming up, and this is really important here too. Koget had a lot of trouble finding this 3rd base, and the 3rd base shouldn't give you that much trouble. And the way we're seeing how Mind is playing this so effectively is that he still has a group of units on the map. These mutas can poke in a little bit here, but they still have to give attention, and they still have to, you know, remind Zero where these units are, and are they going to be going in for an attack anytime soon. Meanwhile, the engineering bay, it is done with. Not going to be researching any more upgrades. These units are pretty happy with what they have, just a 1-1. And that's going to sit well with Mind as he continues to push forward. Is he going to get another expansion too? You know what? Zero is giving him no pressure here. And if he does decide to go for a 4th base, it's an actual possibility here. Meanwhile, a 4th hatchery does come up for Zero. He is working on his economics pushing forward. Yes, if you guys are just coming in right now, you are watching Mind versus Zero. Oh, have I been casting the wrong Zerg player? Hold on. Oh man. Oh man, hold on. Let me update this. I've been saying Zero this whole time. What is wrong with me, guys? This is a Thursday cast for sure. All right, Effort is playing against Mind here. Oh, I see the 0 and I just automatically assumed that was the lineup. No, that is my fault, guys. Forgive me, please. Well, anyway, so we do have Mind. That is not going to change anything that we have seen here. Still a ZVT as we see the Marines going forward here to attack on the right side. The Lurkers on the low ground here playing correct. Yeah, the overlay is correct. It's just me who does not have the correct Mind. This is so typical. All right, so the 4th command center comes up over here. A couple Marines scouting on the left side. Nothing awkward over there. The engineering bay actually just going to stay alive a little bit longer as these mutas decide that they're going to start heading to the right side of the map and give some attention. Oh, let's go at the top here. It looks like the Marines are up here in the top of the base, and they're going to do a lot of damage here. Look at the drones going down with just a small group of Marines. And the Lurkers don't want to leave the Dark Swarm here, so this is going to be troublesome. The Nidus Canal is still here, so I don't think that these bases are going to be lost. More units are going to be coming out. Look at these, the Defilers, though. They're going to be useless. 3 Defilers sitting over here along with these drones. Imagine the kills that that Mind could get right now if he was able to engage on Effort's units. The Ling's going to be coming in here, though, to clean up the rest. Meanwhile, at the bottom, we now have another push in. The Science Vessel's coming in right now. It looks like a Scourge hit did occur while we were away from that point of view. But this is good right now because of all these Defilers, the Consumption Spell going to work here. The Dark Swarm doing a good job. So only 1 hatchery get taken down. That's not a big deal. The mining hatchery is still alive here, and Effort was able to hold on to that. So not a big deal. All right, so many units moving down towards the south here too. And look at this. The Muta's also on the prowl. This is something, again, and I'm going to just reference Scan a couple more times in this game. But Scan did such a good job of keeping these Mutas alive, going for Greater Spire, and then using Guardians pretty effectively. But, you know, Mutas are good for picking off dropships and just kind of keeping an eye on the lay of the land here too. Meanwhile, this is probably the last of the Marines that are going to be able to really defend here. It's all about Vultures. The mech transition has occurred, and these Vultures, they can't really come back to deal with these Mutas. So what units are going to come in here instead to help defend? I guess Mind might be forced to continue to build Marines out of the 4 barracks that he still has inside of his base. Yeah, look at that. He doesn't have the anti-air to deal with this, and so he's going to have to bring the Marines in, and you know what? A good Irradiate could also dispel these Mutas. Down to 5 count, though. Meanwhile, oh man, another drop in here. 2 locations. Look at this. Double dropship play coming up here towards the main, or I'm sorry, this 3rd base location here, too. The Marines getting a lot of damage off, but the Hydras will end up cleaning it up. Look how many Hydras have gathered into that base. Meanwhile, the damage still going on down here, too. The drones might even staying alive because that Dark Swarm is just a blessing for Effort at this time. Got to keep attention, though. There's so many Vulture bikes that are roaming around the map, just prowling, looking for any kills that they can get. Lots of action going on in this game. A great opener, TVZ, for today's King of the Hill matchup. Look at all the Hydras moving down to deal with the mech forces here. Actually, they do great damage against these Vultures, but the Marines with the medics are going to easily engage across these Hydralisks and take them out. Everett's going to have to retreat. An Irradiate does go down. Actually, another Irradiate goes down. A really bold Science Vessel here. He can repair that later if he wants to also. Meanwhile, the Lurkers! The Lurkers, they're getting inside this base down at the 6 o'clock position here. And they're going to be getting a lot of damage off. Look at that, 5 kills right away. This is just amazing. Even this Hydralisk coming in here to attack. The Vulture's going to come in here, but there needs to be a scan going down to be able to take care of these Lurkers. So much action in this game going on. Meanwhile, SCV's poised to make another expansion over here. Right outside this base, Dark Swarm coming down to try and keep these Lurkers alive. And of course, the Irradiate spell. Such a deadly spell. Going to be able to take that Defiler out very shortly here. The Lurkers finally getting cleaned up inside this 3 o'clock base here. Or 6 o'clock base. Sorry. And the SCVs here nicely mining at this mineral only here too. So I like the SCV count. It's up to 64, and if SCVs do get killed off, you can still be mining pretty optimally off these 4 bases that Mind has right now. So he's playing a pretty good game. Just Spider-Mine's still on the right side of the map. He's going to lose his science facility. That's an awkward building to lose. Is he not going to build his science vessels anymore? I guess he's kind of giving off on going after that unit. The reason why I disagree with getting rid of your science facility is science vessels can pay off always throughout this entire game. What if he wants to transition back? He's just going to have to rebuild that building again. So it looks like Spider-Mines have been cleared out, but just a huge gathering of Hydralisks as Effort tries to work his way down towards the left side of the map here. The command center going up, though. A huge defense is going to have to occur right here. It's all Spider-Mines. And you know what? The Overlord sees this. And just a factory going down right here. And not going to be enough. Ah, the Spider-Man. Spider-Man getting so close here. He's going to get that SCV. Meanwhile, a huge group of units heading down to the 6 o'clock location, too. Coming from the high ground. Look at the upgrades here. +2 carapace, pretty solid for these Hydralisks now as they continue to be more formidable against these Marines. The Marines aren't going to be able to deal with the 2-1 upgrades on these Hydralisks, and they're going to move in here, play very effectively. And the Lurkers, oh, the Lurker doesn't land here. That was huge. If the Lurker spine was able to get off, a couple of these Marines would have been taken out so much quicker here. But it seems that Mind is going to play good. He's going to defend over here, but he's still lacking that 5th base. And I think that 5th base is pretty important. On the other hand, Effort, he hasn't expanded to a 5th either, roaming off his 4 bases. He still has minerals out of his main base, but it is starting to dry out. How? Actually, I think that Mind transferred his SCVs from this base to his mineral only so quickly and early on that he is able to mine pretty effectively from his main base, but he is about to mine out at his natural. It's just kind of a rare thing to see that main lasts that long. Alright, the Hydra's gathering up once again, doing a sweeping job with these Overlords. And we're seeing just random mutas kill off the buildings that are floating outside this, around the map here. And that barracks sure to go down. There's not an SCV around to repair it. It is in the red and will surely die off. Effort's pulling back though. He's actually building a hatchery here at the mineral only. I think that's a great choice, and you can pick up these mineral onlys pretty easily when you control the map as well as Effort has. You know, Mind isn't able to push out. He's not able to move beyond this 6 o'clock location, and he's only able to sit on these 4 bases. Although the siege tanks already with the +1 starting to build up and count here, up to 15 siege tanks, and eventually it will be a scary move out for Mind once he tries to take Effort out of this game. It's going to be one giant death push. Okay, we can see that the Irradiate going down right in the middle of these Hydralisks too. And you typically see a Irradiate go down at mutas. You would see the Zerg player react and kind of split very effectively. I mean, I think Hydras are just such like trash units at this point in the game, not very cost inefficient either, and so it doesn't matter if you don't split them well against an Irradiate per se. It's not like a Storm, where the Storm has so much more spread than an Irradiate does and can be very deadly. Still Spider-Mine's up there. No units so far. The spread of units for Effort is actually quite brilliant. You can see him holding the middle, trying to get the left ground here too. He actually has units on the high ground still here to hold the left side of the map. And here it's going to come down to these biomech pushes now. A decent amount of science vessels too. I think that Scourge are going to have to come in here and start dealing with this science vessel count. Up to 6 so far. They're all on pretty good energy right now. This one's a little bit weak, but the Radiate just went down in that unit over there. So we can see why that one has lost its energy. The tank's moving up into the bridge here. Gonna hold it pretty fast. Now this is where having a set of mutas would be pretty nice. but instead it's just a huge amount of Hydralisks that are going to have to deal here. And you can see 43 Hydras so far. Units pushing forward, and the Dark Swarms are going to come down for a massive defense at this bottom, or at this bottom natural here. Oh, look at this. The Plague hitting all of these units. It's going to weaken a lot of these Science Vessels. Very few hits are going to be needed to take out the Science Vessels here. But, oh my god, Queen Plague! Queen Plague! Oh, no wonder we confused this for Zero, because ever coming out here with Brilliant Queen Plague, even though that is not his signature move. So many of those tanks getting broodlorded right now, and this is going to trigger him to bring all his Hydralisks down for the bottom left to kill off whatever units are left. This is a massacre, though. The upgrades are good, 1-1. The tanks trying to get off as much area of fire as they can to kill off these Hydralisks, and they will survive. It looks like Mind's army still holding on, but guess what? He's still down a base. He's going to need an additional base behind this effort, able to take the 12 o'clock location here. You can see that is underway. It's going to allow him to have that additional necessary gas to go into this late game. Good play, though, from both sides. I mean, incredible hold and stand here for Mind to be able to keep any of these tanks alive here. And the re-macro, but this is going to be a significantly weakening blow here. The Plague coming down on those tanks. Only a few Lings will really need to land. I mean, to call me crazy, but it is still hard to get a Ling this close to the tanks. All right, here comes more Hydras trying to push down this bridge. And, you know, this bridge location here, these two little avenues, so tough to get across, especially with Hydralisks. It's the same thing when you try and move Dragoons across it to engage against tanks. It's just a kind of a massacre area, which is why Mind can camp at it for a little while, and then kind of use this as a rally point to catapult Vultures forward and do drone damage, which is what we're seeing here. 68 drones. Wow. That is a ton of drones. In fact, that is an incredible amount. Still actually getting up to 71 now. And more damage coming down on these tanks, but the tanks are leapfrogging forward. You can see that SCVs coming out for repair too. In fact, missile turrets coming down. And these glides are going to be able to clear up the mutas. But this constant stream of Hydras coming from the right side, teleporting themselves through that Nidus Canal at the top, and coming down the air, funneling their way in to do as much damage as possible. Even the medics joining the party here. These are the bravest units of all. Even when they don't have anybody to help fight for them, they continue to push forward and heal. That, or they just get lost and are annoying to kill off. Alright, look at all these Lings coming from the left side. No damage done so far. Another re-macro of Hydra's effort has an infinite army here. You can see that he is running low on minerals, though. 600 left. Meanwhile, Mind has tons and tons of minerals here available to him. 2,300. And eventually he could just push out tons and tons of Vultures to counter this army. Vultures with their Minds can play pretty effectively against the Lings that are coming out here. +3 carapace. Did you see that? No upgrades on the claws, but the shields are good for those Zerglings. Here it comes again! More Queens coming in! Or are they going to pay off? These Broodlords coming out. Come on, Broodlords! Or Broodlings! Sorry, I'm calling out the wrong thing here. Broodlings! So good, so good. Look at that. Mind is going to tap out. That's it. Well, guys, that's going to be game number 1. I'm going to take a quick water break. And we'll jump into game number 2 in just a second here. Let me quickly identify who the next opponent is going to be too. So that'll just take a second here. Oh, look at that. That needs to be updated. Ever played that so well. So well. What a beast. Can you believe that he did not make it to the finals of the ASL? Can't believe he lost his shuttle. I'm sorry, Eyewater. Who I think might be up next. Let's see here. Yes. PVZ time, guys. PVZ time. So to address last game and the comment that Art of Turtle just posted in the Twitch chat, mine tapped out too early. You know, I kind of agree with that, because you look at his bank and you saw that he had 2,500 minerals and, you know, over 1,000 gas, like 1,500 gas. And you would think, okay, so he could re-macro. It's not a problem right now. Why doesn't he dive into the bank before he taps out? But he was having so much trouble getting additional bases, and he didn't have a real high army count. Effort put himself in a really good spot to win that game, and so I think that, you know, maybe Mind, like all KT Terrans, know when to actually GG on time, versus players like Fantasy and Kanata, which just love to do Snorefests. All right, we're going to go to the next game. Let's get this rolling. Here we are. Let's bring up the screen. It has begun. So now I know for sure what these players are, and I don't even know how to pronounce Effort's name at the top left here. Masaigi, something like that. Anyway, we're going to have Effort here at the 3 o'clock position. We are on Longinus. Ooh, a mix-up here of the maps. And down at this bottom 7 o'clock location, yeah, we'll call it that, it is going to be Eyewater, the ASL champion. Everything looking good so far. This Overlord going to the wrong location, though. Not going to get that initial scout off. It's okay. Lynx could be following up pretty quickly here. Overpool being a pretty common build here for Zerg players. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see that opening here. Meanwhile, just the standard opening for Eyewater here. So look, where is that probe going? Maybe it's a pretty fast scout here trying to call out where his opponent is, wants to quickly identify that. Or are we going to see just kind of like a random gateway out on the map? I mean, where's the initial pylon here? It's right over here. Okay, let me see if I can change the colors up. No, I don't like that. We'll stick with that one here too. Okay, so what do you guys think? 12 hatch? 12 hatch? We do see the Overlord on its way, heading south now. The initial drone coming out, and a follow-up drone scout probably to go towards where Eyewater's base is, just to make sure that he does find his opponent on time and can sniff out any sort of cheeses. And this probe is important here too. The probe needs to see the timing of this hatchery here to know exactly how much of a defense he's going to need. So with the pylon out here, it's going to be a forge expand, and this is pretty solid walling area for Eyewater here. So he's not going to have any problem doing the forge expand, and he's probably going to go greedy and drop the Nexus down and just go for the one cannon defense here. This drone timing is actually really good now, and it's going to be enough to really annoy Eyewater here. His probe actually getting down to 4 health here. To 5 health. Wow, that was really close. He actually ended up having to bring another worker around. Yeah, I haven't seen Longinus play in a long time. In fact, there is the Fiwi Faki thread, I believe. It just sounds so silly when you say that name. But the thread on Team Liquid discussing his ranking of like the top 50 maps and which ones were the most balanced. Someone was bringing up some points about Longinus and how it's not quite as balanced as it was in the past. You know, with the current state of affairs and the new builds that all the players have. We'll see, though. We'll see. We're not going to prejudge Longinus, right? So then a third hatchery is coming up. So this is just crazy macro Zerg play coming out from Effort, who does have his extractor on the way. The spawning pool is completed too. But we're going to see the game played out very differently than we saw him play against Mind in the TVZ matchup on the great macro map, Circuit Breaker. Okay, so the Nexus is going to finish up pretty soon. He did go with just that one cannon opening. He's got the gas on the way. The core is going to be just started here, actually. So this is really heavy economics here. Just pure probing so far. And I think that this is going to be in response to Effort, who is going drone crazy too. 16 drones right now, only 2 Zerglings. No one caring for a single unit on this map, really, that can do any significant damage. These initial lings. In fact, if that ling died off, we would only have 1 true attacking unit here. But now the initial Zealot comes out, and this could be an annoyance. I think that Effort's going to be forced to build a few more Zerglings here to deal with just this one Zealot, because he can't wall off, he can't take high ground. This is going to be a very open mineral only, and so it's a base that you want to hold on to, but it sucks because you might end up having to defend really hard against Protoss for this base, but it has no gas. So you invest so much in that defense for so little payoff in return for the kind of base that it is. The Zealot does back off though, not even getting a kill right now. Psyblades doing their initial 16 damage without that +1 upgrade here. You can see that the scouting probe still going around. The ASL champion, he did defeat Effort in his group stage. It was his first game. Effort went for a cheese. I forget what was it, like a 4-pull build, and it was crazy. Effort tried to normalize after he failed to you know, take out Eyewater early in the game, and then Eyewater was able to just miraculously win the rest of his group too. What an incredible player, and winning the entire finals. Okay, so this +1 is on the way. Yeah, the score says 0-0. Let's see here. Let's just remove that. Since right now it's just more of a confusion than anything, since this is King of the Hill, and I'll add the kill list after this cast. That's a good point. Thank you for calling that out. The Lynx are trying to bounce around here to find holes. This is the nice part about this choke point, is the fact that there's only one hole. It's a bigger one where you have to have 2 Zealots to block it, but I think it's also annoying when you have a hole up here and then a hole right here, and you have to spread your units out between them. So the initial Corsair comes out too, and this Corsair on its way to just kind of scout out first, and then gonna follow up with maybe an Overlord kill also. The Templar Archives coming really quickly here though, so maybe this is gonna be a Ser DT style build, but you know, the +1 speed timing is really coming on along the way too. Where'd that Corsair go? You know, it's this blue, when it's like a single unit blue on top of the jungle tile set. It does get hard to keep track of the units here, but we'll deal with it, right? We'll deal. CMG backs, welcome to the cast. Yes, this is Longinus. Shit has gotten real indeed. Okay, so look at this. 2 gateways coming up on the way. We see that the Templar Archives has finished, and it's just going to be for Storm, actually. It's just going to be for Storm. But you know what? A DT could still pay off here too. I think though that knowing the economic opening that Effort has had, he could have a pretty good 9-10 minute Hydra timing attack at the natural base. And so Eyewater, I love, is just going to go ahead and stall off this Hydra bust type timing. You know, the 6-hatch type play that you would typically see from Jaedong back in Kespa days, and instead is going to get speed with the +1, the +1 finishing up right now, and it means that he can pretty much face up with any sizable army right now, and he's just going to be bouncing back and forth looking for the good engagements and the quick kills. If the Hydras aren't microed back quickly enough, then maybe a couple hits or two can just soften them up. We can pad them up so that way when they do come for this attack here, the High Templar will be able to just storm them to glory. Oh, these Corsairs, the Corsairs taking a little bit of damage. You can see this one actually took shield damage too. Gonna be making their way out. Meanwhile, up here, we can see that the Zealots running by. They did try and poke in, but there's so many Hydras chasing them away that the Zealots are gonna just try and find this high ground again. And with their super sneakers on, they're gonna be able to run away pretty quickly. Zealots, sometimes cowards, right? Okay, so these Corsairs heading towards the natural base, looking for another set of Overlords. Oh, this would be such a tasty amount of Overlords if he can get it. Meanwhile, you can see that, like I was talking about, the amassing of these Hydra is going to be sent over towards this natural base, and this bust timing is going to be too late. Even if he does take out the gateway because it's towards the front, or gets risky and takes out this Forge, which is working for that +2 attack. The High Templar have Storm on the available to them. Actually, they can get. I see 1, 2, 3 Storms available right now, and so Effort, he's gonna have to go ahead and stall this attack a little bit more until he has a better strategy. That would have been huge if the evolution chamber was taken out, because that +1 attack is pretty important here. Just a hatchery going down, a nice little poke in, and these zealots getting whatever damage they can done. And the fact that they're out on the map makes them so scary. Sometimes the Hydralisks can get surface area outside the natural base and make it really hard for a small group of zealots to be able to run around and harass. But we're seeing the power of Protoss on Longinus. There's not really a lot of high ground advantages that Zerg can use to be able to shuffle and force Protoss into bad engagements here. And in fact, now another bad engagement. These Zealots are getting a lot of damage. Meanwhile, we can see the Zealots coming in from the south side too, trying to hit up this base in a couple different locations. Oh, Eyewater, he micros them back. He's actually keeping both of his control grids of Zealots alive. And this is just a straight on effort, who's having to multitask like crazy to make sure that he keeps tabs on all the Zealots, which are finally going to be gaining up into one giant support group. And you know what? These Hydras are not going to be able to deal with a near 2 control groups worth of units. This initial High Templar coming out to pad them down a little bit, but it still has enough energy for a second storm, so that wasn't too wasteful, even though there were the misses. You know, when you see those storms go down, you start to get a little bit scared. This is Effort's signature play here. Effort has done this so well, and in fact, I would say Hero is another player who does this really well. These Mutas are here specifically to pick off the High Templars, and that's what they're going to try and do right now, going in for the initial attack. And you know what? A lot of Protoss players recommend that you storm yourself, because you can always move your units away, but you don't want to try and anticipate. Instead, just go ahead and hit the units where you know that their path is going to lay, and allow your units to take a little bit of damage for the storm to do an immense amount of damage to the Zerg opponent. That's what we saw there. Another expansion coming down for Effort. He's going to be up to 4 bases, having an additional gas here. And look at this. This is the crazy part about Longinus. When you get this base up here, you have 2 gases available. 2! Okay, that's absolutely insane here. So with this mix of Hydralisks, which are up to 34, 10 Mutas, the Zerg powerhouse is trying to control the map here. But Eyewater has a great amount of units himself. He has himself High Templar, 2 control groups worth of Dragoons. Corsair still in this fleet too. So much damage going down on these Mutas here. And this mid-game timing attack that we're going to see, I would anticipate we're at the 11-minute mark. When we get to that 13-minute mark, there should be an immense amount of damage going down, maybe at this base right here. But it is possible. It is possible that Eyewater stays conservative and tries to get a 3rd base also. I just think that with the amount of units that he has a great advantage right now, and he can really disrupt the economy of Effort if he engages in the next 2 minutes of play. This is a lot of Overlords though. What are we thinking here with the gathering of Overlords like this? Are they 1, trying to stay themselves alive, or 2, potential for drops? I guess we could go ahead and click around and see if we do find the upgrade coming on the lair. But no, the lair's just sitting there. Not morphed into a hive yet either, still sitting with this lair. Lair tech stays on a Zerg player so much longer in PvZ, or I'm sorry, in ZVT than it does in PvZ. Meanwhile, it looks like the 3rd base is going to be taken, because we do see the signature pylon coming down first, and the probe ready to drop that Nexus. I mean, this is great. Why not? Get ahead here is what I say. 190 supply though. He's gonna have to start, you know, using his army to try and get any trades that he can in, because once you're maxed out, it doesn't pay off too well to just completely send your army and just take bases. You got to be aggressive against Zerg, because they can go ahead and take bases behind you too, especially if you're passive in the mid game. Then it starts to get really, really scary. Oh, the last of the Mutalisks just won the final Muta. And look at this, the poor Sap is going to have to face off against the Corsair. The Corsair will take it out. Okay, so the Ute tried to move out here towards that base, and it's going to leave the 3rd wide open for Eyewater. Oh, Eyewater going to go with the cancel right now, and instead he's just not going to worry about it. You see what I was talking about, the 13-minute mark, and instead of putting that Nexus down and causing himself to have to come back for the defense, he could have had the timing attack without having to stall up. Now we know that effort is getting well prepared at this location here, and he knows that this army is going to push forward, but Iwater's going to try and break with these 2 bases. He's almost all in at this point, even though he is going to be getting another Nexus behind this. This is what he wants to do. Go for the win right now. Take out the Jugular. So many Dragoons getting a lot of fire off here. With no Dark Swarm, with no Lurkers, the Hydras aren't going to really face up too well. And the High Templar are going to go with the Storm here. Look at all the Hydras going down so quickly. The damage is so immense here. I think that Iwater has done it. He has broken the initial army here. And like I said, there's no high ground. So really easy to take out these bases. 3 hatcheries could go down so quick. Longinus definitely Protoss favored. And it is showing so right now as Iwater is showing his strong arm here. And it might be able to take out the player who took out mine. This is great, guys. This is absolutely crazy. 151 supply to 75 supply. And losing this base is huge. He doesn't have a lot of larvae here to re-macro from, even if he does have additional bases. And it looks like inside this, the Corsairs are hunting down the Overlords inside the main base. Dragoons and Archons and Storms going crazy at this natural. Look how many Lurkers we're trying to build. 6 Lurkers all taken out, and it's going to cause a GG. Oh, boy. Whoa, boy, what an ending. Iwater playing like a man there. The ASL champion smacking it down one more time. Protoss overcoming the strength of Zerg. Game number 2 is down, and the hill is continuing to be climbed. Alright, guys, we've got game number 3 very shortly here. Let me update the overlay, get the next player ready to go, and we will be watching the next game in just a couple minutes. Thank you for watching the Weekly Dagger Korean edition. I am so happy to have you guys here. Doesn't fit on the overlay. Ah, this is frustrating. I could always leave it like that, of course. You know what would make this name shorter? Is if I went with shuttle. Alright, we're cheating. We're cheating. We'll make this one more symmetrical to the other ones. There we go. How about that? Bam. All right, we continue with our King of the Hill matchup with the Korean players in the weekly Dagger. This is week number 8. I've included a foreign edition. This happens on Tuesdays, so if you like to watch foreign players or want to get interested in the foreign scene, that's what Tuesdays are for. But if you only love Korean players, you're a purist. We have Effort at the top left corner here as the Zerg player, and down at the bottom right, our reigning champion, the King of the Hill so far, it is Eyewater. Alright, don't be confused by the fact that Shuttle is written on the screen below, but it's purely for overlay purposes. But Shuttle, aka Eyewater, has defeated Effort in the previous game, but now we have him up against what I believed was probably the best Zerg player in ZVP in the post-Cuspa era. Effort, so good. I'm sorry, not Effort. Hero, so good at ZVP. It is incredible. His APM, always the highest. You can see that it's floating around 500 APM right now, and it stays pretty consistently high like that. In fact, his EAPM is ridiculously high too, so don't think that he's just a spammer. He actually plays with relatively great efficiency. Now, this cast is live, as in I can address your question here in the Twitch chat. But no, this is all casted from replays here. What happens is these replays were given to me from Zero himself. And Zero is allowing us to be able to see behind the scenes. And if any of you guys do feel like you would like to donate to Zero himself, you know, give him a couple dollars and maybe send him a message. My PayPal account below, you can donate to that link, and I will send him that money directly, and I will even send him your message. But these replays come from him. I have already given him a donation from one of the YouTube viewers that decided that they wanted to donate towards Zero because he was so nice to give us these replays from all these professional players. We get them from Flash, replays of Flash, Bisu, Zero, Last. I mean, everybody you can think of. I mean, it is really cool that we get these and get to see from behind the scenes. Now, big thanks to Lamada, my Korean translator, the guy who helps me with the KCM legend matches that we work on, and translator for Team Liquid now. He is the one who communicates to Zero that I do this cast, so Zero can give him the replays, and then he emails them to me. So there is that big thanks here too. Okay, that's enough of that spiel. We're on to game number 3 here of the night, and of course I needed a little bit of water here as I got parched. We see that the hatchery that the Zerg player here would have liked to have taken earlier was denied with that probe running around here. And now, as you can see, this is a weird map. Neo Jade has a low ground main. Not necessarily bad in a PvZ, I would say, but yeah, it's just one of the quirks that you notice in the start of the matchup. So the extractor going down, going to be finished up very shortly here. We can see that there are several lings going to be on the way too. I wonder if this is going to be a fast type, speedling type build here. But the initial zealot is out, which means if we click over here, probably we're going to notice gateway first. So gateway first, the Nexus goes down, and this is actually one of the advantages of gateway first on this map in particular. And especially since the natural, or the second hatchery was built so far away at this wide open third, this is why, you know, this opening here is so effective. And so I like the choice for Eyewater to go for gateway first, and these two initial zealots are forcing out so many lings, which is what made me think that if we went over here, we would see speed on the way. I mean, that was the whole point of that initial mining from the extractor here. The zealot's still alive. Are you kidding me? Getting as much damage as possible done. We can see that they have a accumulation of 6 kills thus far. Oh, here's the deal though. The Forged finally coming up. There's a little bit of a gap here. In fact, the last competitive game that I played that was for an actual tournament was on Neo Jade. Just thought that was a fun little tidbit to add there. Since I haven't played in a competitive tournament in, I guess, a year or two. Although I do still play a ton of StarCraft. I have lots of fun playing it. Shield Battery, guys, get on there too. I know that you guys are itching to play on the new server. Okay, look at this. The Zealot should be taken out, especially with speedlings. You know, Hero is trying to play very effectively here and lose as little lings as possible because he knows that he already lost the initial few. This cannon at the back here with the initial Zealots kind of clogging the only way in is going to prevent any of these lings from getting inside the base. It's going to be all about scouts with the Overlords, and the Cybernetics Corps hasn't even finished, so it's not like there's a threat of Corsairs or Dragoons. And the gas being taken at the natural, so this is good because there are going to be 2 gases pretty quickly. It's going to allow some for tech to be brought up to speed very quickly here. Although I would have liked to have seen a faster Stargate based on this opening for Eyewater. Alright, let's look inside of this natural base here too. We're going to see that the Hydralisk Den is coming up. The hatchery coming down at the natural base too. And what are we seeing here, guys? What do you think we're going to see off these 3 bases? This looks like it might be pretty aggressive because the gas has been taken so early. You may need that gas right now to start going into just a massive amount of Hydralisks. 32 drones so far, no more Zerglings being built. A Hydralisk speed is already on the way, and I think that this is going to be a 3-base Hydra timing coming out from Hero. This could be pretty deadly. There are no Corsairs yet on the map, and in fact the Stargate has just finished up here, so immediately the Corsair production has begun. But unlike we saw in the last game, Eyewater, he's probably not going to be up to storm tech by the time that Hydras get to the front of his base. Okay, speed coming down right away too, +1, and let's see if he can be as effective as he was on Longinus in this game, where it's a little bit harder as a Protoss player to play PvZ straight up. Yeah, so this is all that is coming now, is just tons of Hydras and more hatcheries on the way to build more Hydras. That's all this is about. The lair is coming because the lair is really important because you can switch over to lurkers pretty quickly if you need to. You know, go into that tech, and just you want at 7 minutes a game, you want to be able to have lair available. But still, I think that by the 8-9 minute mark, I would be surprised if it wasn't the 8-minute mark that we're seeing Hydralisks just pumping down, you know, possibly a forge or a gateway here. Imagine if he was able to snipe this forge here. I think these Zealots at the front, even without speed being completed, should be enough to defend this forge and gateway as the upgrades do complete here. We're seeing, though, okay, 20 seconds away for that 8-minute marker. The initial scouting Zergling does come in. The Hydras, though, with their range, they can hit this gateway. So they just have to be cognizant of the Zealots as they move out. But the Hydras, they do have some pretty good range right now and can pick off these buildings, which is always a threat when you're trying to hold the natural, especially on the map, Jade. Oh, look at this. The initial damage coming down. Okay, speed's done. Speed's done. The Zealots are going to push out. Eyewater's not going to wait any longer here. He does not want to risk it. And actually, this was a great play here. Hero was almost unprepared for this. As these Zealots do push out, +1's going to be finishing up very shortly here, too. And look at that. A single High Templar defense right now. Oh, the +1 almost finished. The Zealots starting to get on the offensive here. In fact, I would imagine that they'd head over to this base. It's not really well defended. Sunkens might need to happen. Oh, this high ground, though. So many Hydras sitting on this high ground. The Zealots weren't going to find good surface area, and it looks like they're just going to be heading back around this map. I don't know if they should head all the way home. What I love so much about Eyewater's game against Effort is the fact that he didn't just turtle up his Zealots at this portion of the map, but instead kept them active and moved them around often. Instead, we're only going to see a power of 2 Zealots heading over towards this left base location. And there's just one Hydralisk right here. And I think that a couple drones could go down. But Eyewater, he is just going to not risk it at all and bring those 2 Zealots back. He's going to need everything he can to defend. This is actually a sizable army. Oh, the initial storm goes down. It does seem to be relatively good dodging right now for Hero, who manages to keep a lot of his Hydralisks alive and continues to keep his strong push going forward here. These Zealots are just going to have to bounce away. There's not a good time for them to regroup with the rest of this army here. Let's take a look inside this main base. The Corsairs, you know, are we seeing a lot? We haven't really seen too much in the way of Corsairs actually on the map here. I'm trying to look around to see if we missed anything. But no, the Overlord count looks actually pretty good. Up to 10 Overlords here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Did I just see Mutas? Where are they? Where are they? Here we go. So the Muta switch right now, and this is what we've seen so common from Zerg players right now to try and pick off these High Templar. Water didn't allow it to affect him in the last game here, but maybe Hero, he has the superior micro in this matchup, and maybe he could actually get the pickoffs. That effort wasn't able to. So we're going to see a lot of Dragoons trying to hide these High Templar in between. Oh man, imagine the damage. They're starting to group up right now. Let's look inside this main base. There's no cannon here. There's one warping in on the south side here, but some damage could go down. A nice stack of these Mutas right now, and I would love to see some main base probe damage. A single Corsair, 2 Corsairs. Not a lot. Not a lot. These Corsairs are just going to be considerably weak. And now down to 1. I mean, the Stargate's been around for a long time. But Iwater really had to forego getting more Corsairs because he had to get to the High Templar tech really quickly. And he couldn't allow himself the spare gas for Corsairs when he knew that he needed the Storm defense. So that's where that sacrifice comes from here. And now we just see that the Mutas are that much stronger because of the timing and the unit selection that Hero forced earlier on. Yeah, the Dragoons here with the Corsair is going to be enough to push away these Mutas. And, you know, this is the base that Iwater's hungry for. He wants to be able to take a third because he can't be aggressive. And if he can't be aggressive, expand and turtle. And behind this, Hero's actually taking a 4th base too. No, that's just Overlords over here. He's not taking a 5th. And this is still really good Muta control so far. He's not going to get any kills. Get it back away with these Mutas one more time. You can see that the one I have selected is actually relatively weak here. He's going to go for the hunt. He's going to go for the hunt. They try and run back to this photon cannon. And this beautiful, he does take out one more kill one more time. Okay, so the Nexus here coming up at this 3rd base location. And a ton of lurkers. Oh my god, 11 lurker eggs. 11. This is absolutely insane. I had to take my hands off the keyboard there for a second. Whew. Overwhelmed by the amount of lurkers that are about to come out here. Meanwhile, look at all the Hydras moving in, trying to add into this force. The creepy crawlers making their way down, doing the crab walk like crab people do. And this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Iwater, he's got a tougher matchup, I think, in this one. He's got tougher terrain to go against, too, if he wants to advance against his opponent. Not playing quite as well as he did against Effort. But still, he has a strong base. He's taken minimal economic damage from those Mutas, which are continuing to still harass, by the way. They've only taken out that cannon now. They poke in here. But look at that probe count. 47 probes, but the additional Nexus is done. And even though the probe count is less than 55, which is what you would expect at this time in the game, he can still actually get that worker count back up really quickly because he has 3 Nexus completed. All right, guys. Let's keep an eye on this. We can see that the probes are starting to be produced at that Nexus. How many High Templar do we have? 7 High Templar in this game. And Hero, he has a great 4th base coming up. All of these hatcheries on the way too. One of them being a nice canal here. And he's going to be able to just magnify his unit supply here. This is really annoying. You're almost forced to keep your Dragoons. The Corsair here, I don't know how there's still a Corsair alive. And these Mutas have just done a great job allowing Hero to transition into this mid to late game. Let's see what the tech is. Yeah, we're working on late game now. We have the Hive is already completed. Upgrades on the way too. This is a standoff, isn't it? This is kind of a standoff. Let's be honest. Yeah, this is crazy. We are looking at 14 minutes. Hero's got almost a maxed out army. He's keeping in supply, even with supply with Iwater here. Now, this is just a phenomenal game from Hero so far. And if he's able to pick up these High Templar too, that would be absolutely disgusting. 1-1 too. So what we saw last game with Effort is the fact that he did not get his upgrades, his melee upgrades quickly, and only had carapace upgrades, which means he was doing pretty weak damage against an effective Protoss army here. +2 already completed. Let's go ahead and find the forge. We can see that +3 on the way. It's all about attack. Iwater loves doing damage over survival. Okay, so the storms are going to have to be really effective here. It takes 2 to take out these lurkers. Imagine pre-patch when 1 storm used to take out a lurker. Oh, but that has since been nerfed, hasn't it? Speed's done with these overlords now, so they can zoom around this map pretty quickly. In fact, what you'll see as a good Zerg player might bring the overlords around along with Scourge and start picking off these observers to make their lurkers much more effective. So we'll have to be on the Scourge watch at this point too. Oh boy, guys, Guardian play. This is going to be sweet. Where is that tech? We see the Greater Spire here. Okay, let's keep an eye on this main army engagement. It looks like both players just so close to the engagement. If you're watching the mini-map here, it's getting to be huge. The Dark Swarm coming down. So we have Dark Swarm, Lurkers, Guardian Tech, Speed Overlords. I mean, everything couldn't be going better for Hero in this game. He is playing so well, and he's actually getting another base up here at the top right, 2 o'clock position. Archon's on the way. Because really the High Templar don't have the time to get up more storms, and Archons actually do really deal well with Lings. They're the best way to deal with Lings in the late game too. So a nice little way to just kind of go for the mind sweeping. Look at this. The lurkers go down really quickly, and this is where having the observers taken out would be really nice. Look at that! Oh my god, he's almost getting that pentakill like we saw in the last game on those lurkers, but the lurkers managed to scrape alive. The Guardians going to work, getting their damage down here too. More overlords coming in along with this entire army, and look at this huge string coming down from top left to the middle. Oh my god, so many units coming down here. The storm's trying to clean up every single bit of lanes possible. The Guardians survived the initial storms that go down. Hero's army, it is going to survive. It is going to start swallowing eye water, and it's going to be GG. That's it. Wow. Wow. What a game. What a game. Hero playing so well. Knocking eye water out. No player able to win 2 games in a row so far. That seems to be the trend. We have 3 new people that have become the king of the hill so far. And we have a couple more games to go, guys. Just a couple more. All right. Promise I don't do coke, but my nose did get a little itchy there. I apologize for the on-screen nose grabbing. Woo! What a game. Jesus. Talk about someone getting a lot out of nowhere very quickly. Let me turn that off. Let me add to the overlay, and then we'll get into the game number 4. Yeah. Sometimes I can't math. All right. Hero. Okay, for everybody who is watching, I have been giving my replays to Selly, who has been adding them to Icy Cup for their replay section. If you felt like that was a really good build, and you want to learn more and see it more intimately, I will make my replays available after my casts. I'm not greedy. I don't need to own all the replays in the world, and I know that you guys who want to become better foreign players want to be able to study from the top Korean players. So if you want to, after this cast, I would expect give me a day or 2 to make them available, or Selly to make them available, but I will add them on there, and then you could go to Icy Cup and get your replays and become a Gosu like them. So yeah, you're welcome. All right, Give me one more second. I will be back on camera in just a minute here. Not even a minute. Just like 15 seconds. Okay, I'm back. So, let's get into game number 4. And I have that process ready here. StarCraft. Let's hit the play button. Alright guys, welcome to the Weekly Dagger 8. And this is the Korean edition. I am your host, BisuDagger. At the top right hand corner, we will have our reigning King of the Hill champion right now. He is just on fire. It is going to be Hero. And at the top left hand corner, we will have our Terra player Last. Yes, I am a big fan of Last. I really love his play. I think he is the next AlphaGo. And what an incredible turn of events when he lost. He lost 3-0. No. He 3-0'd Flash, which is what I called. But then he lost to Shuttle, which was amazing. How in the world? If you guys don't know, I love flaunting this because it's really important to me. From the round of 8 to the finals, I predicted every single game correctly. You can go and look at the staff picks if you don't believe me. There's a record of it there. I picked every one and almost got all of the map scores correct too. So, yeah, I'm some sort of go-to when it comes to picking. And it's the contrary to what the rest of the Team Liquid staff would present to you. Terrible stat-based predictions that no one likes. Okay, so we do see the Overlord coming up first here. More drones on the way. No spawning pool quite yet, and that is gonna make us think that this is gonna be a normal 12 hatch build. We're on Circuit Breaker, so one of the more standard maps. We saw Circuit Breaker earlier. What was that? The first game 2 in a TVZ, which mine did lose to Effort. But now, as you can see, the rest of the scores on the left-hand side, we're up to our 4th game now, and winner continues. That's how it is. So if you're a fan of Last, cheer on Last, and Last can play until we run out of players. And if you're a fan of Hero, Hero's already won 1, and you would be cheering him on to continue. Now, I think that there may be only one more game after this, and I believe it is 0. So I think that the next game is going to be 0 versus whoever wins. So unless you want a ZVZ to end the day, you know, cheer on a Last, right? Actually, ZVZs are pretty cool. If you guys missed the ZVZ series between True Touch and Eon Zerg, God, that was a fun one. And I really encourage you guys to go watch that. That was 3 weeks ago, I believe, on my Foreign Edition cast. It was really fun. Actually, it's 2 weeks ago. That was part of the Crispy Cup, which was just a great success in my opinion, as far as you know, ad hoc foreign tournaments go. So another barracks on the way. Last, how is he gonna play TVZ differently than we saw Mind? I think that Last is the better TVZer in my opinion. This comes from just instinct, because Mind actually played pretty good TVZ, and if you're wondering why I'm not moving the screen, my hands were off. Mind was a good TVZer back in 2015. I just feel like Last is kind of taken over in all categories over Mind, and it's kind of taken you know, everything one notch further as far as his play is concerned. Of course, anybody can go ahead and throw stats at me if you'd like. I love seeing like the top 5 players of the week and of the month. I mean, that's been some pretty cool stats that has been thrown out. I forgot who does that. But whoever throws up that thread every once in a while is like the coolest person ever, because it's really neat to see who is dominating the scene. And in fact, Bisu has like the best record right now, is just murdering everybody on the fish scene. And it's pretty phenomenal to see such high statistics against all these top players, including Flash, Last, Effort. His PvP record is just like squeaky clean. One of the best PvP record you could ever imagine. Over 80% win rate in tournaments here, and so I'm almost like hyped to see him play more PvPs in future tournaments, because he's almost undefeatable. All right, yeah, Yellow Smiles, the guy who puts those up there. Thank you. What an awesome dude. So this looks more like we would be watching Mind, and because this is how Mind used to open up TVZs. Although I feel like last is maybe a medic short. This timing is actually really strong here, and this is what we saw Koget use very effectively against Scan, and the best of 14 that was played out and casted last Tuesday. So the initial cancel here, and I mean, was this poorly scouted by Hero? I mean, this is not well done. There's so much lost right now. This could be a very quick GG. Yeah, the stim coming in here too. There's way too many fire bats. Oh, and Modesty saying hi. I hope you are the Korean Modesty and you can tell us about all the best Guardian builds for Zerg. Ah, GG. What a quick game. What an anti-hype game for how well this this King of the Hill series has been going. But whatever, that's going to take us to the next game, which I believe is 0. Let me go ahead and take a sneak peek here as I get ready for the next game. We'll just roll quickly here. Why wait when we've had such a quick series that we just witnessed? Man. I did more talking than casting in that game. It didn't last long enough. Oh boy! Oh my, you guys. Yeah, and you know what? Our American Modesty is awesome too. Awesome. Felsda, what's up? And these games are played through sponsored matches. And so this is for cash. Every day almost. There's like this timing where the top players get together and the sponsors arrange teams and make them play King of the Hills, team matches, race wars, whatever. Guys, we're going to be watching a match between Last and 0 on Neo Arkanoid. Awesome. All right, let me update the overlay here. We'll get into this next little bit. Let's see here. If you guys missed any of this, my VODs get on YouTube pretty quickly, so you can go ahead and watch the earlier games if you would like. Well, it looks like I put the double colon in here. No one wants the colon unless you're trying to scope something in, right? Oh, yeah. Guys, if you don't know, Jaedong is going to be playing on the Brood War team along with Best, Sharp, I believe Eyewater, and maybe one other player. And it will be a 5-man Brood War team. And Heroes of the Storm show matches against Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2 and Overwatch players. They will be playing, I'm sorry, 5-on-5 Heroes of the Storm. Let's see here. Yeah, that was Hero who just lost right there. Got to pay attention. So that's actually a thread that's in the StarCraft 2 section, but it's still pretty cool. Oh, no. If you go into the is Jaedong back to Brood War thread, that was discussed there. So you can actually see more on that tweet if you would like. You know, Team Liquid should pay me for giving them so much promotion during my streams. But I guess they let me do whatever I want on their website, so we can accept that too. Okay, let's bring this up to speed. Let me take a sip of my water. And there we go. Guys, I am more than confident that Jaedong is going to be returning to Brood War. You know, we can't confirm or deny anything in terms of whether he's been playing on our Smurf accounts. We don't want to aggravate EG until the contract is over or renewed. We'll see however they want to play it, though. But in the meantime, let's talk about what we got here. It's going to be 0 versus last. And this is coincidentally our last game. I don't know who wins here. I'm very excited. I just know there's not more than one. There's no more replays here. So whoever wins will be considered King of the Hill. No player has won 2 games in a row either. So is this going to be another day of curses? Will Last not win either? 0 is going to be spotting up here at the top right hand corner. And at the top left, it will be last. We are on Neo Arkanoid. And guys, we are watching the last game of my Weekly Dagger number 8 Korean Weekly Edition. And of course, I am your host, BisuDagger. I've gotten all the yelling out of the way, right? Look at this carnage. Look at this. This is just a graveyard. Not even a single critter. Everything is just death here. And not shuttles, temples and power generators. This is just like the craziest map ever. And of course, you can kill all of these off. 5,000 health, that's 5k, and they might be stacked too. Actually, I don't think those are stacked, which is why they did like the double up here, because it's like, I guess 5,800 worth of health to kill off here. Okay, so the spawning pool coming down, the overpool build is real here. Or no, wait, no. Is that really what we're seeing here? What kind of opening is this, guys? This is TVZ. Had to transition my mindset here because we watched so many PVZs earlier today. But last, he is opening up pretty standard so far. Gonna see the barracks thrown down in just a second. Let's follow this SCV as it makes its way towards the middle of the map. Look at this. So if you actually want to mine from this location, you have to kill off all the chrysalises. But Last is already going to be greedy and build a command center right here because he knows that he can just lift and land over here. So he's actually going for a 14cc build before getting a barracks. Meanwhile, we're seeing that this is a fast lair. Oh my word. Oh my word. Are you guys serious? Okay, so you can't... I want to do something real quick, which I don't usually do in these types of games unless I'm doing an analysis. But let's look at this map because I don't think you guys actually understand what these players are doing and why. So the natural base is actually blocked by these chrysalises. And I guess that's how you make it plural. There's a ridge here that units can't get over. You can't leave your base without air. You can kill off temples if you want. You can actually get up to 3 bases before leaving, but you can't leave until you clear out these temples and power generators to get into the middle. To do what? Nothing. There's nothing of worth in the middle of the map here. So you expand your way down or you expand your way up and you can't scout your opponent. And so we're seeing here that the response to the fact that you can't leave your base is that Zerg is going to be going for fast lair, and I'm guessing fast mutatech, and Terran is going for fast command center. Alright. Hope you guys got enough of that. If you feel like you want me to reveal more of the map again later, we could do that, or we could go into a discussion. But since this is a non-relevant topical map here, then that's about all the briefing that you're going to get eventually. So the Zerglings are going to take out this pretty quickly. Here's the one advantage that Zerg has in terms of these bases, is the fact that a hat-trick can come over here and land right away. Actually, I take that back. I think that the creep recedes right away. So Terran doesn't even really have to worry about it. Well, let's look here. The barracks is about to complete. An initial marine will pop out, I'm sure. And I would be surprised if an engineering bay didn't come out, right? The spire's on the way. There's no way that there's going to be enough marines to defend here. And I think that an engineering bay and turrets is going to have to happen. Yeah, it is funny that such ridiculous maps are being played, but you know what? It's fun. It's fun that we get to see something different. And the fact that, like, Overwatch and Take Back Mountains existed in the ASL, that makes everything even more fun here. So more of these new mature chrysalises. What's an immature chrysalis look like? To be determined. Alright. Well, this command center is still pumping out a decent amount of SCVs. The factory is on its way. So factory to defend Mutas? Oh my god, what are we seeing, guys? Yeah, this is technically an island map. We'll put it that way. It's an island map that transitions into a non-island map, I guess, in the late game. Because mid-game, you still have to do a lot to be able to open up all the passageways. The land of the command center here. The SCVs resuming the mining. The factory lifted, which makes me think starport. Okay, so the starport is being built. Is there an armory? The engineering bay has been completed at the left. Turrets are going to have to come up pretty quickly. The spire's completed. 3 initial mutas are coming out. And this is like the opening to a ZVZ, right? And a muta here at this location too. Of course, even if this were ZVZ, you would say that Zerg is behind purely because they didn't take the additional gas yet. This hatchery was late for additional larvae. Just all sorts of things that make it so difficult early on as a Zerg player tries to get into air. Look at this. A 14cc opening, turrets, factory, starport tech, and all Zerg has is like 4 Mutalisks? 4? Oh my god. Oh man. Terran sucks sometimes. Let's just be real. Let's not hold back the verbiage. Alright, so the mutas are scouting around. They have determined where the Terran opponent is and are now making their way across the map. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Trying to hide his way. Look at the Mutalisk little portrait face. I mean, how does that look anything like we see from the aerial view of a Mutalisk? It's just like some really poor tusk type disgusting thing here. 7 mutas done. 7 mutas in total. Any muta that dies is just a shame here. Alright. Still staying alive. So many turrets. So many turrets. Okay, so 7 mutas. They get away unscathed. The +1 is on the way. Science Vessel Tech over Valkyries. Science Vessel Tech, guys. This is ballsy. Last is going all out. Playing for the mid game here. Getting all the tech possible. And he wants to go for the long haul. While we may be seeing Zero here is just trying to do some critical damage with his mutas. And he won't though. He won't. There's too many turrets. Zerg's just going to have to continue the expansions. You know, play an economical game. Alright, where did we lose these units here? Let's see what the different color schemes we can get here too. No, I like this better. Alright, what amounts of money get sponsored for these kinds of events? Anyone knows? I don't know how much. I could ask Lamada later. I'm sure that he'll tell me the answer. He does tend to watch these casts, so he might just add it in the next email that he gives me. But these players do get a ton of money. I mean, it's silly. And that's actually one of the discussions that, you know, I have with like KCM and Lamada is how do we get these sponsors to sponsor players that aren't just like last zero Bisu mind? And even those top players like Sharp has a hard time getting money. And it's really tough for someone who was the semi-finalist, the 3rd place winner in the Advanced Star League, and he's not getting a lot of donations to his stream. At Kespa era really made these guys so much more popular than anybody who is post Kespa. It's almost like another like type of purist, someone who only wants to support the people who are on telecon type teams. So how many mutas? We have 10 mutas in total here. It looks like they're going to be splitting up the pack. Trying to poke it. Oh! Split! It does happen. But, you know, not fast enough. And still feel like a little bit of damage was done here. Meanwhile, the nicer 88. And these Marines are starting to work their way out. Alright. So the poor little medic there just splattered like a cockroach onto the ground. And look at this. So the natural base is actually defended pretty well here. I think that the tech is really in favor of last right now. But the economy game has got to be in favor of Zero now. Because he has 3 bases. He has this additional gas. He's doing quite well. Oh, the splits again. The splits. He manages to get it out there. But look how much damage was taken. He's down to 8 mutas in total. And he's going to have to use Scourge to try and pick off some of these science vessels too. And that's going to be tough. He's going to have to play very, very micro heavy right now if he wants to get these Scourge hits off. Try and play for the mind games. Maybe he could fake out last as he does go in for these Scourge kills. I liked what I saw in Scan's TVZ against Koget, because he stacked up his Scourge so well. It was kind of fun to watch his micro as he just kind of shuffled them in here. Oh, he's got to split the Scourge now. That was really unfortunate because the Radiate did go down on the Muta, and the spread damage would have killed out the Scourge pretty quickly. So he just went ahead and dove them in on top of this army. And look at this. One pathway has already been made into the middle of the map. And now, actually not the true middle. Remember, more power generators have to be picked off. But now he is carving away towards the right side of the map, trying to make it. And he could have gone in this direction, but instead he's going to be going for the temple and power generator route instead. All right, let's see. A huge amount of army is still coming along. Another tank has finally been mixed in here too. The tanks are where the buildings start to come down very, very quickly. That's when you know that the Terran army's coming along. So everything has to be prepared for. In fact, you can see that Zero is already getting sunken colonies on the way. I'm sure that he's going to morph those when it's timely. Another hatchery brought in here. Evolution chamber trying to get the upgrades. And we can see that the Defilers will be able to get that necessary energy to defend against this large army that's coming in here. Oh, look at that. Nice kills. 2 science vessels taken out right there. Trying to get that count down as low as possible. 2 science vessels remaining. Can you imagine here? Already one of the temples does get taken out. What was the Defiler? Oh, this was critical. But you see that this Defiler didn't have too much energy. The one that does have energy is still alive. 200 in total. And it's working its way towards the middle of the map. These dark swarms can cover a lot of area here. Oh, I like that. I like that. I was wondering why he was being so ballsy, but he brings in the Defiler and goes for the Plague instead, which will get the energy down on these medics so quickly. And that's where Plague is super effective here, as we're seeing, look how quickly, watch that counter go down so fast as he had to heal the Marines. And in fact, I wonder if he's moving him back and forth to kind of keep the medics from healing him up. Because he's like, F it. I'd rather the medics have energy than these Marines get healed up at this moment in time. But now you can see they are sitting at 0. A really effective Plague. Does Zero speak English? No, Zero does not speak English well. In fact, I'm pretty sure he had to use a translator on the last message that I sent him, because he didn't understand what I wrote. And then when he talked to Lamada, he said the wrong thing. But Lamada translates pretty well to all these players for me. That dude is just absolutely the best here. Look at the Lynx coming in here, doing a lot of damage as they pop out from the Dark Swarm, trying to get as many hits off as possible. Let's look at these bases. So 2 Defilers, 2 Defiler mounds. Wow. And I wonder if that was intended here, because he's already getting his second upgrade from just this 1 Defiler mount. But you can see it, that the plating upgrade is on the way, and Ultras are going to be the real deal. Meanwhile, at this base here, it's just, all about the larva for army at this point, because the mining is pretty decent at this third location. Still, I think as a Zerg player, eventually you're starting to think, well, when am I going to get my 4th base? When can I get a 4th gas? With this island type map, it's going to be really tough to break through. Last is playing like a beast right now too. He's starting to just open up more and more locations, trying to get in another avenue here so he can have multi-pronged attacks. So if he can attack in here too, from this middle location, and then over at this side location also, it's going to be really, really tough for Zero to hold. But Ultras are going to be on the way very shortly. I don't see them in any of the eggs right now. Just what I'm trying to find. Just one. Alright, 2 Ultralists. It says 2 Ultralists do exist. We'll trust the counter here. I do love this trustworthy counter. Oh, the Scourge! The Scourge aren't able to make it in on the Science Vessels again. And that's got to be frustrating. So even when you lead with an Ultralist, and you know that Ultralist can do a lot of damage here, it's going to be tough because we're seeing that after all the neutral buildings got taken down, now Last starts to build a wall back up. Isn't that ironic here? So the huge move out with the Dark Swarm. Maybe another Plague can go down. No, it's just going to continue to be Dark Swarm. And look at this line right here. 4 clouds already on the way. That's a dead supply depot. The Scourge are going to hit these science vessels. 1 does go down. The damage is astronomical here. The Plague does go down here too. And actually, look, this is hilarious. So the plague hitting these buildings, and you're going to see that the buildings are taking damage, something that you don't see too often, but I do love Defiler drops on a Terran base where they do plague a bunch of supply depots. These siege tanks go. One hit. It takes one hit. And all it does is take one muta. That muta has just 3 hits, 3 tanks. Immediately. Oh! Worth the sacrifice. Hashtag worth. And right there. Taking out that tank. And I am getting crazy chills by watching how well Zero is playing against Last. Meanwhile, oh! Let's look at the drop at the top here. Oh, he's going for the haymaker, but it's not going to happen. Get that out of here. Zero says, shoo, be gone. I've got ultras and my cows are going to work. I am the master farmsman. What a great job by him. Meanwhile, down here, the third base has finally been taken for Last. Eventually, he can take this gas too. Both these players pretty even economically. And the question from Ron Nation US, welcome, by the way, to the chat. And Neo Arkanoid has been around a long time. What do you think? 12 years now? 12. It's got to be. Oh no, maybe this was like a 2005 map? Nah. Time has flown by, hasn't it? Okay, Scourge taking out that science vessel too. Bam, loving the damage that we're seeing. Island maps just stopped being played around 2004 is when pure island maps stopped being a part of the map rotation. But I think Neo Arkanoid was one of the last like bastard maps that made it past that 2004 era and was able to still be played. I love to continue to see all these plagues that are going down. Really tough on these medics. They're having their full day ahead of them here with the massive amounts of heals that they have to do. Okay, Lings and Scourge is all that's kind of taken out this map right here. You can see that Zero has 103 supply, but he's really actually playing this game out very efficiently. He can play with lesser units. And what is this? Last is building like a hidden physics lab. Oh! Last is building a hidden physics lab. Do you guys understand what's going on here? I don't even care what other action is on the map. Where is it? Where is it? We're going to see battle cruisers possibly on the way. This would be an amazing game if we saw battle cruisers. These Scourge actually have done such a good job of taking out science vessels. Only 2 do remain. And so they're having trouble figuring out what kind of work they need to go to here. The tank's creeping forward. The barracks trying to hold the ground off. The physics lab is done, guys. Oh, man. Where? Nope. I guess he's waiting for his economy to grow forward even further here. Kind of shocking that drops haven't occurred for Zero to be able to expand his base. His base is down to the bottom right. I would have liked to see him do a drone drop to the bottom right location and just start mining that main base because he's going to need more economy. Okay, so this is a break through that barracks. He actually took a significant amount of damage even though there were the Dark Swarm here, and only an Ultralist survives and finally dies right at the end. Still 100 supply to 150. I'd say that Zero is still playing pretty well. He's managing to hold this pocket constantly. And look at that D-Matrix on the Marine. What did he do to deserve a D-Matrix? But the warp shield does go up and does keep him alive a little bit longer. Yeah, we have cows on the field and then possible cattle bruisers on the way. I love it. I love it. This is a full rancher map indeed. Oh, the Radiate goes down too, taking down another Defiler, knowing that these are key to Zero busting out here. Oh my god, between the Plague and these Ultralists right now, so much carnage going down. 150 supply just a second ago, and now it's 110 supply to, oh my god, 110 to 90 supply. Zero is going crazy right now, re-macroing up with Zerglings, taking out units so quickly now, and he's recaptured the middle of the map. These units here too, if you haven't seen, that units are not being brought to the middle like the pathing should. And so it looks that like Last is having some issues here. But he finally built up the starports. Friends. The first cattle bruiser on the way. It's going to be making its way towards this location at the top. The minerals running low at the main, at the natural. The third is the only location where the minerals are all right. A command center heading down towards the main base at the bottom left. So he will have a 4 base economy too. Zero's not going to let this happen. He's not going to let Last survive. He wants to go for the jugular here. As he pushes forward, his Dark Swarms are playing great. 102 supply. He's almost matched supply here. Well, we do see Last going for the Battlecruisers, but Battlecruisers damage is going to be so low. And, you know, when you think air to ground, that Zero may be able to do this. He's trying to force the issue. He's made it inside the main base. It's all just a giant smog. This is just absurd here. I know a lot of people will start complaining about the climate change on Neo Arkanoid, but it is worth the battle here if Zero can survive and win this game. Quickly, everything goes down. I love the massive amount of damage coming from these late game Lings. The +2 upgrade, only 7 damage, but at the rate that it does it, everything falls so quickly. Meanwhile, let's look inside this base. The natural, it is falling by this one battle cruiser that already has 7 kills. In fact, a spore colony's on the way, and if Last isn't paying attention, he may end up losing that battle cruiser once the spore does complete. He's going to need Yamada Cannon, right? Let's look at the upgrade. Nope, no Yamada Cannon. Okay. Oh my god, everything's dying immediately as it comes out of these racks. Oh, it's GG! It's GG! Zero does it! Battle Cruisers cannot win! Zero kills Last before he could do it! What a game! What a game! This was unbelievable! Whew. How do I have hair? How do I have hair? Brood War, guys. Brood War at its finest. What a way to end the night. Zero is the king. Whew. Alright, stay tuned. I've got next week's lineup for you. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me go to my latest of my emails here. Oh man, that was a great game. I hope you guys were hyped about that. It is great that he was able to win that. Felsda, Awerty, Fozzie the Bear. Oh my god, Fozzie the Bear, what an awesome name. Thank you all for following me on Twitch. I can see that. I am going to improve my overlays. I promise you, I'm trying to get my Twitch game up and beyond what it is already at. Okay, so Zero has handed over this next set of replays. Next week we will have Zero, Mind, Effort, Best, and yeah, Zero, Mind, Effort, and Best will be competing next week, and I believe a similar King of the Hill format, so that will be absolutely fun. Yeah, other than that quick game by Last where he won with like a tiny push, today was a great day indeed for StarCraft. I'm an hour over time, but whatever. You know, my weekly Dagger hour-long segments are really just kind of like a guideline, but not a strict criteria, right? I can stay up as late as I need to. Adults for the win. Guys, thank you so much again. That's going to be it for today. If you missed out on the earlier games, you can watch them on YouTube. I do have a channel there. Dark Archon of Ire is my YouTube name. I made that a long time ago. I stuck with it. It is what it is. You can find me on Team Liquid if you'd like to leave comments. I love comments. Say something silly if you want. But you can find me there on Team Liquid. I do appreciate anything you guys say, and your viewership is all that really matters. I will be back next Tuesday for the Foreign Weekly. Show some love and support for the foreign players as I show some exciting games then. Thank you again one more time. Time for the outro video and music. Let's see if I can get this going correctly here. I had it right.